Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, the theme park evangelist. Sorry, I got something in my face. Hold on one second. Alright, that's much better. Anyway, so, good news is I officially completed my associate's degree as of yesterday, so yay! Unfortunately, I am still waiting on my final grade for my college success class to come through. On the other hand, as I predicted, I got an A plus in the public speaking class. But according to the professor, there were still some things that I could be doing better. I'm just like, eh. For someone who almost had 97%, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But, anyways, what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight, since my parents just happened to run over to our worship leader's house, worship leader from our church, that is, I have remembered I have not yet talked about the pastor's conference. Well, I was originally going to YouTube here and there. To make a long story short, I did end up going with my brother last Tuesday, and my mom was able to go with me last Wednesday. So, no, unfortunately, I did not get a chance to YouTube whatsoever of the pastor's conference at the Ark Encounter. With that being said, I figured, well, eventually I'll find the time to talk about it. I have not YouTubed lately, as I noticed, and according to my calendar of events, this Saturday night, I'm supposed to go to Haunt. And of course, Saturday, we're supposed to get an insane amount of people. So I pray and hope that I'll not only go to bed early the night before, but I will also be put on the top deck, the third deck, that is. So it'll be a relatively easy day. But I'm not going to count on it either. There's also a chance that I might be on the busiest deck again, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope not. But at least I am off on Sunday. I still need to get in touch with my brother and just let him know I am coming over on Sunday or Saturday night to his place. I keep forgetting to do that, but I guess now that I'm off tomorrow and Thursday, I can remember. Well, first of all, I wanted to tell you guys that last Monday, I did get off work, relatively early. And it was kind of interesting, so I had to rush home. And I stopped at Wendy's over by my parents' house. Stopped and got something to eat really quick. Honestly, I didn't know the pizza was still out. Apparently it was. Could have saved myself some money. Oh well. Then I went and got gas. So it had been almost a week since I have gotten gas. I got gas again yesterday. Good thing too, because gas is going up again tonight. It seems to go up every Monday, and I don't know why. Then Tristan and I went over to Dave & Buster's in Florence. First time I had been in there since they reopened from the pandemic. So, huge difference from the first time I ever went in there. Probably the best time I've had in a Dave & Buster's. I mean, don't get me wrong, the time I went with JR or Josh Southard or whatever was a really good time because we had the meal deal and we were watching the game and we played for a couple of hours. It was a good time, but I don't know, just last Monday just seemed more special to me. That's just me though. And then he came back. He dropped me back off at my parents' house, like pretty much right at 10 on the dot. And I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe the fact that I'm actually off for the next 2 days. I felt like I was on a mini vacation or whatever. So I got up relatively early the next morning because I had a dentist appointment. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I got there right on time, and of course, I spent the next hour getting my teeth scraped and my gums were bleeding and all that fun stuff. And the hygienist, of course, that I'm not even used to, was like, "Oh, you need to get an electric toothbrush. Your gums are inflamed." And I'm like, They are," and I'm like, "Okay, I did not know that." And I literally just got done, and I'm calling my brother, like, "Okay, where you at?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just now about to leave." And I'm like, "Well, I just got done with my dentist appointment." He apparently didn't catch that. So I said, "I'm going to head over to the mall really quick before I go home." And he probably, for whatever reason, he wasn't awake at the time, and he thought I was at home. And he was like, "No, you're not. No, like, don't go over there." So I made a quick stop, got my glasses cleaned, and I know I'm talking about my day, but I'm kind of leading up to the conference. And uh, eventually, he did come over to my parents' house. He got ready. I tried doing some homework. We went over to Cracker Barrel in Florence, and then we went and saw Venom at the movie theater by me in Florence as well. Before we basically came back here and got ready for the conference. So eventually we did get to the Answer Center. Well, I should say the Ark Encounter. It was really cool. So we still parked out in guest parking, and they had emissions redone a little bit. They had the Courageous Legacy banner. They had everybody was dressed up really, really nice last Tuesday. It was so cool. Even my brother and I dressed up like we were like dressing up for church. Excuse me, which usually is a polo shirt and black jeans or whatnot. And the fact that we both matched, which I thought was hilarious, but I don't know if my brother will be okay with this, but I am actually going to insert the pictures in after this clip and show you guys exactly what we looked like, and just some of the pictures from the conference, including anything that I would have taken last Wednesday as well. So we hopped on the guest bus. One of my bus drivers just happened to be driving the bus that day, and I was like, "Oh, no way, what are the odds?" for that evening. And we drove all the way out there, and we got off at the Answer Center. And, I'm all confused, and all I'm thinking to myself is, "Oh my goodness, hope we're just in time for the dinner." I'm really under the impression that we got this free dinner. It's basically a meet and greet with the Courageous cast and the conference speakers beforehand. Apparently, it cost everybody $100. Doesn't matter whether you're staff or not, there is no discount. So I go up and they're like, "Oh no, that costs extra." I'm like, "What? That's not right." I mean, if I had the money, I would have done it, but I really didn't have the money. So I was like, "Oh, that just stinks," because I didn't have any money. And in some ways, that kind of bummed me out because of the fact that I was like, "Well, now I kind of would have worked," but not after I heard how long my friend Brian worked, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Well, later, I should say. So we went to the Answer Center. I mean, you guys have probably seen where the conference speakers are at and all that. So off to our left, there was a literal red carpet, and there was a whole background thing where you could get professional photos done. I was like, "Whoa, they really did go all the way for this thing." And they had people already in line waiting to meet these guys. And I'm like, "Okay, then this is interesting." And they had the head chef of Answers in Genesis just walking around, and there's just so much energy and excitement in the air. The whole entire room was full to the brim. It was so crazy. And they had all this free popcorn. Well, eventually, after we had gotten in line, my brother recognized a bunch of people that he works with or has worked with in the past from the Creation Museum. The Courageous cast did eventually come out, and it was more nerve-wracking before they got there. Like, In some ways, I'm glad I got there somewhat early, not as early as everybody else. I got there at 5:30 ish, maybe earlier. So I had about 30 minutes to calm my nerves, you could say. So by the time I was like literally a couple of feet away from them, I pretty much had been calmed down by that point. I'm like, oh yeah, this is nothing. So it was pretty fast. It was like walk up, shake their hands, talk to them for about 30 seconds, maybe less, take a quick picture, move on to the next group, same thing. And then I was pulling out my phone, scanning a QR code, which I did finally get the first set of photos. Actually, it was the second set of photos within just a few hours, and then the second set of photos I got the very next morning. And my parents are back. Alright, now that you've had a chance to look at those photos, I wanted to now go over Wednesday really quick. Now, the whole point of this day is not to talk about, how I felt about it or my opinion. I'm just going to tell you guys about the whole experience as well as what I learned. So my mom and I got out there like right on time, literally, and I saw a bunch of people with their lanyards, and of course I'm thinking to myself, I don't have one of those. And they're like, or one of the managers was like, did you register already? And I'm like, register? Like, I don't understand. And my mom was like, what, you didn't register? I'm like, no, I didn't know how to do it, nor did I know how to do it for free. Because my brother was able to do it. So he radioed the answer center and let them know that David Dunbar was on his way. And they're probably like, oh crap, here we go again. So I got out there, and they're trying their absolute hardest to make things work for me. So they basically it was like passing the baton. I was the baton, and they were just passing me along from one person to the next. And finally, my mom and I did manage to get in. It wasn't very easy, and we didn't have to pay anything. As soon as they found out, oh, you work here, okay, you're good. So we literally walked into, I don't know if you guys are familiar. What is his name again? I know it. Justin Peters. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Justin Peters Ministries, but he had literally just started preaching on clouds without water. That was his topic. So his sermon was only supposed to be like an hour or 55 minutes. He actually went a little over an hour, but it was extremely good, and that's as far as I'm going with my opinion. But the sermon itself basically talked about how there are a lot of people out there who believe that God has told them this, God has told them that, and there are people out there that literally even believe that they are God. I'm not going to say in this YouTube video whether he's right or not. I'm just going to tell you guys what I learned, and that's it. I'll let you guys who are watching this YouTube video decide on your own whether, he's right or whether he's wrong. And whether you guys believe he's right or wrong is, beyond, I should say is up to you. Now, for me personally, as, much as I, want to say what I believe, you guys already know where I stand in my faith, and that's as far as I'm going with that. So, if you guys don't know anything about my faith, I strongly encourage you guys to watch my testimony YouTube video. I did a redone version about a couple of years ago. It's about half an hour long. If you guys want to sit there and listen to the entire thing, it will give you the perfect opportunity to find out exactly where I stand in my faith. So with that being said, I'm just going to move on. Right after Justin Peters spoke, we took a quick break. I went and used the restroom super quick, and got a cup of coffee, literally sailed right back in my seat right on time because there was a ton of people that were literally encircling the coffee pots. It was the most hysterical thing I had ever seen. If they were making sacrifices to the coffee, I wouldn't be surprised. That's basically the way those people were acting. They're singing along with the guy that AIG got to come in and sing worship songs, and they're getting their coffee at the same exact time. I'm just like, holy crap, what is going on here? So eventually, I did finally make it back to my seat, and I listened to a pastor known as Conrad Mabway. Now I have the sermon notes, so I don't exactly remember exactly what I preached off in. I think he was preaching about wisdom or something like that. Another good sermon, interesting. And right after that, I went and got my mom a kid's book for her classroom, and we literally got back just on time after I went to use the restroom again. Because I'm trying to drink fluids just to stay hydrated, because I'm literally just sitting there still, which is hard to do. And then finally, we got to the last sermon by him, and just for the day in general. So we came back, and we listened to Comrade Mayway speak this time about raising, your children to only like do godly things and stuff like that. Just help them know what's right and what's wrong, all that fun stuff. Stand up for what they believe in. That was more or less the sermon topic. And that one didn't last too long either, and then we were like pretty much done by like 1 o'clock. So my mom and I went down to Emzara's kitchen and grabbed some lunch. We walked around the entire ark, literally. There's stuff about the ark that I know about that not all the general public knows about. And we met a really nice family. One of them was actually involved with 9/11, and we got to know him. And he actually remembered me the very next day, but I'll get to that in a minute. So that took up a lot of our time, just kind of talking to this family and getting to know them. And they all happened to know the Department of Public Safety officer that was giving us a private tour. And I had arranged it earlier that morning only because I work there and I'm able to do that if it's slow enough. And only because I work there. But technically I'm not really supposed to at the same time. But it was fun. I enjoyed that. I was originally going to take my mom to see Unbelievable by Bob Jones University. But by the time we got back to the car, it was already 5 o'clock and I was exhausted. And I believe I did end up going back home and doing some homework. Now, I don't know what it is about this week, but I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that I'm done with college, but when you feel that freedom, like, there's, two kinds of freedoms. You have the temporary freedom that when you're free from school for a little bit and then you have to go right back to it again. But there's also the other kind of freedom when you know for a fact that you've completed all your classes, especially when you look at your transcript and it says required courses such and such hours, and you see you've completed all those credit hours, and you're just like, wow, I can't believe I actually did that. And you just know for a fact that you're done. You've officially done it. You are no longer needing to work on that associate's degree or whatever degree you're working on. For me, it was my associate's degree. And that's the kind of freedom I'm experiencing. It's the kind of freedom that it's done. You never have to do it again. All you can do now is move forward. At this point, until they mailed me my associate's degree, I know figuratively I have an associate's degree. And it's so hard to comprehend that, but I know I do because my transcript says so. I've officially completed all of my required college course hours that I needed to get to fulfill my associate's degree. And it only took me 7 years. All because I have learning disabilities. Well, that being said, you know, I have a few options at this point. I have the option of staying at the Ark and keep living around the area. I also have the other option of moving to Florida or moving back to Florida temporarily just to, experience life again. Or last but not least, TJ, if he wanted to, could still move up here. And the two of us could live together. And then I would be able to live with him and still be up here at the same time. Now, as of right now, I'm kind of tied between those three choices. I know at least at this point I'm not going to be working on my bachelor's degree anytime soon because it's going to cost too much money. But at least I know for a fact that next year for sure, I think I'm just going to focus on college, finding a girlfriend, and just focusing on myself. I think I should definitely be up there. And just resting when I can, but it's just such an amazing feeling right now, and I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts until it gets boring, that I no longer have to do any more schoolwork. And, that's pretty much the end of that vlog. So I'm going to do one more vlog, and then I'm going to head off to the grocery store for a little bit just to go get some stuffing and probably bananas too. Iced coffee for sure, because I always need iced coffee. It's really all I need today. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next vlog. So my next vlog, I'm actually going to be talking to you guys about what upcoming vlogs I have for the near future. These are all possibilities. I do this all the time on my Facebook page. I talk about upcoming vlogs. Now I'm going to do a verbal version where I'm going to be facing the camera. So I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out. So to continue where I was last night, I was talking about the pastor's conference, and then my parents came home. I was like, oh, there's my parents. And then I immediately, abruptly ended my YouTube video. So almost 24 hours later, I mean, it's mid afternoon right now, the very next day. Sorry, itchy hand. Because I'm using my phone again to YouTube to pick up where I last left off. So, more or less, what kind of happened with the rest of that night, because I'm going to end this clip and then do another one, because I want to insert the pictures from the first night into this vlog so that you guys can see kind of what happened. It's been exactly a week since the pastor's conference even started, believe it or not. But anyhow, I remember after the celebrities all came out and just went through that whole blur of meeting them and all that fun stuff, my brother and I decided to go use the restroom super quick, and I went and grabbed a box of popcorn because honestly, I was expecting to be fed that night, and I was not expecting to pay $100 for dinner. I was like, heck no, doesn't matter how nice it is, I don't have that kind of money. So I just kind of snacked on some popcorn just to tie me over. And we went and grabbed a seat, and we just kind of sat around and waited. My brother got into a really good conversation with a guy. I'm just kind of sitting there quietly, just playing with my phone. I've been really anxious about my grades because I literally just finished my associate's degree, which I just said last night. And, I'm still waiting to find out what my overall grade is for my college success class. And then I was going to put it on Facebook and send a screenshot of it to my boss and let him see it for himself because he doesn't check Facebook very often. So it wouldn't make any sense. And I usually put it on Instagram as well. But after we waited, the movie did finally start. And since it was kind of a special thing, they got this guy to do a Donald Trump impersonation, and then they were like kind of making fun of it. They were like, "Whoa, it's pretty cool that we got Donald Trump to introduce the whole thing." They're like, "No, we're just playing that so and so." And of course, I'm like, "Well, that doesn't mean anything to me." And then the movie did finally start, and after the movie, I was under the impression everybody's going to take turns on the microphone and asking the cast questions. What they actually did was they went down the line and they asked each cast member like questions that they had for them. Well, when I mean by cast member, I don't mean Disney cast member. I mean like each of the members of the Courageous cast movie, like different questions that people would probably have about the movie, and each of them got to share their testimony about working on the movie, or just for Alex Kendrick in general. And Alex Kendrick kind of did all the questioning, and he kind of stood off to the side and just kind of looked at them the entire time, and kind of just went down the line. About 45 minutes later, they finally finished up, and there were people that were kind of just standing around and mingling and talking to each other. Since there was such a long wait to get on the bus, literally, we decided that we would go around and talk to people. I had never introduced my brother to any of my coworkers. For crying out loud, the last time my brother went was 2 years ago to the Ark. So I took that opportunity to basically introduce him to a lot of my coworkers. And from there, I was like, well, I guess it's time for us to head out. So we did finally get back, like, right after 11. And then, of course, I had to get up early next day. But that's the end of this clip. So after this clip, you'll see pictures from last Tuesday night.